It's 8 p.m. on a feel-good Friday. For the very last time this year, welcome to Trendz Live on SABC. Kamalamu Mngedisi, but you can call me Mne. We're closing off the year strong with what we do best. Tonight, we're giving you the cream of the crop. Please remember to drop us your messages and pictures on X. The handle is @Trendz on SABC. We'll kickstart the show tonight with something to keep you safe. Kidizemba, boss. The festive season is a fantastic time to visit water parks and to go to the beaches with our families and friends. But while having the fun in the sun, we must also put safety first to avoid injuries and drowning. One of the coolest places to visit is Happy Island in Gauteng, where holidayers thrive on amazing water features and slides. Trendz producer Didi Mokeleti went to explore the park, but also get a few nuggets on how to remain jovial and safe.
A space to freely rock your swimwear and escape scorching weather temperatures. This is the biggest water park in Africa, awaiting picnickers and adrenaline junkies for an unforgettable adventure.
We have the 3 high-speed slides, which are incredibly fast, they're incredibly high, they sit at 30 meters, and then we have the enormous typhoon slide. But it's not only about that, Didi, it's about the children, and what we offer the children, the kiddies pools, the main pool. It's so much for your children to do. Wave pool is 10,000 square meters, and we have the biggest wave in Africa that comes out of the wave pool, and I'd say that is our biggest attraction here, is the wave pool. The people absolutely love it. The screaming when that wave comes out, if you've not seen it before, is the highlight of anybody's day here, is that set of waves. Highest and biggest and fastest. Some of the slides are geared for the adrenaline junkies for sure, but it's also, there are tranquil things, tranquil pools where you can relax and chill. So it caters for everybody.
The people are so friendly, and the nature of the place is nice.
There's just nothing like it around except for in Joburg. Come out here, have fun, the music's fun, the vibe is here, the slides, everything.
Safety is a priority at any place with buckets of water. Rule number 1 is do not run at these exciting spots. Accidents can occur, precisely why there are measures in place to ensure that all patrons are protected from harm, including drowning. Adhering to the rules is so crucial, it may even save your life. And remember, slide operators and lifeguards' instructions must never be ignored.
My duties is to make sure that the patrons are not drowning, looking around for the hazards, and then looking for the kids also, so that when they go to the deep side, I blow a whistle so that they can go back to avoid them from drowning. I enjoy it because I'm saving lives of people.
We have a full complement of security here. Okay, there are UCs or undercovers that you don't know about that are in the park all the time. Okay, we have our uniformed security that are at all the major entry points, and then we have a full complement of certified lifeguards. Each of our lifeguards have been through their training, so we have slide operators at the bottom and the top of all the slides and attractions. Okay, they will measure you for your height, must be taller than 1.4 meters. There is also a weight restriction on the high-speed slides. Okay, so you're carefully monitored before you go onto the slide.
So I found a few holiday goers that certainly know how to look after themselves and stay safe around water parks these holidays. Tell me how you're going to make sure that you're safe at water spaces.
Firstly, it's about listening to the lifeguards, because people think lifeguards are here to take away the fun, whereas they're here to make sure you have fun while staying safe. So it's all about listening to them, whereas checking your own surroundings.
I like the rides, mostly this one here, and the things are very nice.
Yes, I also enjoy the rides, and the people are very friendly. Yeah.
How are you making sure that you stay safe and not get hurt?
By going with my cousins and my brothers.
Yes, just staying together in a group so that we know Yes.
When you're entering the slides, at least wait for the person to finish and then you go after. And especially wear sunscreen. And if you are like you don't know how to swim, at least get some like things that help you to swim, like a life jacket or floaty.
We really did enjoy very well. The kids has kept me very busy. And one of the most safest things, make sure you got your sunscreen for your kids.
Water can be dangerous, okay? Don't be negligent. Know your limits in the pool. Know where you can swim, especially in the ocean. Don't wade in too deep. Stay safe in the water, okay? And you'll be fine. Just don't exceed what you know you can't do.
Happy people on Happy Island. Now that's a refreshing and certainly worthwhile shot left.
2024 was another massive year where Mzansis was shining bright on the global stage, especially when it comes to the culture. Our music, fashion, dance styles, lingo, and everything about South Africa was widely celebrated and adopted in many parts of the world. It's only fair for us to look at those moments and give credit where it's due. I'm now joined by digital content creator, entertainment commentator, blogger, and award-winning brand PR consultant Nombulelo Fox, and award-winning culture reporter, best-selling author of Dinner at Somizi's, and editor-in-chief of Sowetan S-Mag, Emmanuel G. Yeah, to unpack the year that was. Welcome to Trendz Live.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, a lot happened this year. Hey,
it's been a long year.
I will start it very, very basically. How was 2024 for you? Emmanuel, I'll start with you.
We were talking outside and I said it felt like Mercury was struck in retrograde.
Hey!
It's been a year. On a personal level, but in culture, so much has happened. We have had so many successes. We have had so many losses in terms of losing so many iconic people. So it's been a year. It's been a year.
Yeah. Nombulelo, do you agree? Retrograde?
I would actually say it was a great year, in my opinion, especially for quite a lot of personalities locally. I think the South African flag was definitely flown quite high. So definitely a lot of ups, then your downs. Yes, we had our moments, in terms of loss, and just certain, career, changes for some individuals. But it was definitely a good year.
Speaking of changes for some individuals, let's talk about Tyla. Yes. I mean, she's sitting firmly at the top, and where she was last year compared to where she is now is absolutely insane. What's your take on the trajectory of her career?
When you're just destined for great things, you just walk in your purpose. That's how I feel about Tyla. I think more than anything, she's just walked in the right rooms, was with the right people, and everything just opened up for her. I think after winning her Grammy, it seems like opportunities were just endless, and I love it because I think more than anything with a lot of the young people in our country, yes, we had very much inspirational individuals that people could look up to, but I think Tyla took it up a notch, and it's amazing to see just how much she's achieved in the short space of time, basically.
It's the perfect example of being in the right place at the right time. Emmanuel, I have to ask you about Tyla. What do you think it is that has her taking over this way? Like, what is it? Is it the way she dances? Is it her team? What is it about her?
Yeah, I think it's Tyla's world. We just happen to be living in it. I think for me, she solidified her stamp on pop culture at the Met Gala when she wore that gorgeous Balmain garment. It was the right meme-worthy garment. She traded water for sand. It was beautiful. I think also highlighting her winning a Grammy. She's the youngest South Africa to have ever won a Grammy. At 22, I think she was just 10 days into 22, and Miriam Makeba was the youngest before. I think she had just turned 30 in the 60s. So for me, I will always remember that moment. I think she said something very iconic when she was on stage, which was just very, very authentically Edenvale, authentically South African, and she looked international in Versace.
I think I when I watched the Met Gala and she showed up, I was like, only the Jenner sisters pull off something like that, So for her to go, I'm like, no man, we have style and taste in South Africa.
And that's impact. That's
impact.
Yeah.
Bring it back to South Africa, our very favorite DJ Maporisa. Let's talk thoughts. He's been trending a lot this year. What do you guys think?
Yo, of course, where Pori's name is just being uttered, there's always going to be a lot of controversy. And I think after the whole mass music and something Soweto debacle also happened, people were just like, sign eyes, jongi.
Also, how are we still talking about music rights in 2024?
And this is the thing, but I think in retrospect, the creative industry at large still has quite a lot of work to do, right? And which is why you see so many artists still fighting for what is rightfully theirs, because unfortunately access to this information isn't always readily available. For someone who, like there's a girl who was featured in one of Chris Brown's tracks, for instance. Imagine you're creating a song, whatever the case is, someone uses it, and you as a young person don't even know what the right path is in order to get whatever is due to you. So I think while we can assume that everyone needs to actually know how the music industry works, but also within the departments, they need to also ensure that the information is readily available for people to know that they cannot be exploited. We cannot be having, these chads in the next years to come. So it's not always black and white for some individuals, but I just feel like information around that needs to always be there, and it needs to be everywhere.
I won't lie though, at some point I start blaming the musicians, because when the summers come around, Risa, Sampra, they have musical education stuff and they push that a lot. So I'm just like, who's really at fault here? Emmanuel, Pori?
Yeah, I think the issue of music royalty is very important. I think as our industry progresses, we really need to look at the business side of music. I think for Maporisa, he was just the face of it, but this has been happening for a long time. There was an issue widely reported in the media about DJ Swoo and Zahara a few years ago. So I think education is important, but also I think we need to be kind to ourselves. We need to remember that we just turned 30 as a country, 30 of democracy. So our democracy and our independence is very small, very young. We are learning a few things, and what I'm looking forward to is actually empowering young people and just saying to them, it's not just about a TikTok challenge or this, but you also must secure your back.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of 30 years also, and how small or how little of a democracy we are, I think we're also quite huge, because with our democracy birthed stars. I mean, i.e. Mama Koni Cheme, a lot of stars that we lost this year. What are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, I think it has just been a heartbreaking year. We lost so many legends, so many young talent. We have lost a lot. I think when it comes to loss, you can never really say enough about it to say we are still feeling it as a country.
Who do we see taking after her and setting a trail? I mean, we have our Tuso Mbedus. Pearl Tusi has done some really amazing stuff internationally in acting, but who do we see carrying on the legacy of Mama Koni?
Sure. I think it would be very unfair to say who would carry on that legacy, because that legacy is hers alone, right? I think everyone comes into the industry with their own unique talents and what sets them apart, so to say. But I think from an acting standpoint, definitely Tuso. I think Tuso also and there's not much we can do, and I think I love how South Africans have just embraced the fact that, change will always come, with people taking on new opportunities and just soaring in different countries, and will always be so supportive. So I think from an acting standpoint, definitely Tuso. But I know also just, in some of the local series that we do have on different platforms, there's so many young up and coming actors, which I absolutely love, because these are new faces. And seeing them is just so refreshing, because I know for the longest time people have always said open up the industry, and now I think it's opening and it's opening at such a very rapid rate. So I don't want to name single individuals, but I think there's so much talent that we're seeing on our screens, and I absolutely love it for us.
I truly agree with you.
I can name individuals.
Oh, let's not be spicy.
I want to name people who are doing well. Carrying that legacy. I think if I have Nomza Mombata, who is going to be in the new Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise. She's in Shaka Ilembe, the second season. Quickly, you've got Masala Budesi, who made her debut in Bridgerton. I think she's going to be in the new season. You've got Pearl Tusi, who continue to do well. You have Tusom Pedu. You've got Bonimbuli, who is in Hollywood creating magic. So there's a number of them.
There is a number of them, and we're rooting for them.
Definitely.
Another cultural cultural phenomenon. We receive a brand new Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Minister Gayton McKenzie. Let's chat about his impact. I mean, there's an open letter right now that's circulating on social media from the cast of Queendom. What is your take on his role thus far in his term? I'll start with you, Nombule.
Listen, it was definitely a bingo card. Nobody ever expected to see Gayton, heading up that department. But I think from what I've seen currently, he's definitely made a bit of a change that we can see, because he always shares his progress on social media and so forth. And it feels great seeing someone be so proactive and so involved. And I think as a country, I know I might get a bit of backlash for saying this, but I also feel like we need to also take into consideration how long he's been in the role for, that he can't magically make certain things happen immediately, right? Because there's so much that he's had to take over from the previous administration, and then come in, try and address that, and then, progressing to try and fix other problems that other creators say with the actors that they're also going through. But we've seen the impact. I think schools have also felt it in terms of just their sports and their facilities, ensuring that, children actually do have something to be involved in, whereas before that wasn't the case. So I would definitely love to see more of what his team will definitely be up to, and just progressing that department. But yeah, no bad blood.
I see Emmanuel is nodding, so that means you're co-signing, which means I have another question to ask you. Hip-hop, right? Hip-hop has been around for a while, and it's defined South African culture because we've sort of taken a grip on it. We've created a flavor of our own. Amapiano has come up though, and it seems like piano is taking over. Artists maybe are shying away from hip-hop. They're doing three-step. What's your thoughts on where hip-hop is right now and how it's being held down?
Yeah, I think our artists are doing so well that that conversation really bores me. That music has always evolved. You have Kwaito in the late 90s. Quite to progress into something else. So even hip-hop is going through an evolution. There are new artists in the game. They are doing amazing things. So I think comparing it to what it was in 10 years or 10 years ago, or 5 years ago, I think that's just really unfair on the artists themselves. I think music is about evolution. Culture is about evolution. What happened today is not really happening tomorrow. We speak in the future tense, not really the past tense when it comes to culture, I believe.
I agree. And we see them pretty ugly, Maclera.
Listen, yeah. No, there's definitely people who have really stuck it out, and I think what works for them works for them. And like with the individuals that you've mentioned, Maclera has done so well. We've seen Pretty Ugly also bagging his first ever summer this year, which was amazing, even though it took forever. But it's I think to Emmanuel's point, like culture is meant to evolve, and you see other artists who are able to blend certain genres together and come up with a different genre that works for them and their audience. So it's not a matter you would see people are moving away from hip hop, but I think whatever works for you, stick to it if that's the recipe. But that's just the name of the game and how the entertainment also works.
And I think if there's one thing that we do know about South Africans is that if they love you, they will support you. We saw Breezy Ball now. Hey? Let's go to the most contentious topic in December in this country: predictions for Song of the Year. Where are you sitting over there?
Yeah, I think I forget the name of the song, the new one by Trendz. I think that's my song of the year, but also Amagia did amazingly this year. I think that's my song of the year because it has maintained momentum from mid-year maybe. So those two, I think Lala Tukzin is just one of the most exciting new acts to watch. Zin Gumalo. I think for me, I'm rooting for artists more than songs this year. Tyler. So many new faces, bringing genre fluidity, mixing different genres. I mean, with Lala Tukzin, you are seeing that Amapiano, but it has a bit of gqom in it, and that to me is very exciting.
100%. Nombulelo, very quickly, your predictions?
So might be controversial, but I do think Foka that maybe. But also, I think I do agree with the Dlala Tugzin Amagia song because that also did really, really well. Consistently, people love it. So, yeah, those are my top two.
I think I'm also very tied between Amagia and Birimarung. But it's fine. Look, all we know is that culture is alive in South Africa indeed. And I'm looking forward to 2025. I think we still have a lot more up our sleeve and I cannot wait to see. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope to have you again next year so that I can hold you accountable for the things that you said.
And that's culture.
And that's culture. That's how we wrap it up with our culture wrap for 2024. Maybe it's Birimarung, maybe it's Chincha Magia. I don't know. We'll have to find out. We're going to go to a quick ad break. When we come back, it's more of Trendz Live. Stick around. Welcome back to Trendz Live. Now, Mzansis music took to a whole new level this year as we celebrated a decade of Amapiano music. Now, the sound is firmly chilling at the top of charts globally, and it's not a surprise. Now, as we wrap up the year, we explore the top tracks and artists that are the most listened to on global distributing streaming platforms. Selepe Maifadi attended the Spotify Wrapped event at Constitution Hill to find out about our most loved hits for the year. Have a look.
We're here to celebrate Spotify Wrapped 2024. As you know, we were out here last year doing a similar thing, trying to find out what people's favorite tracks were. What was the importance of bringing something like this to light through your brand?
We like to think of Wrapped as a little bit of a love letter to our fans, right? And when I say fans, it's about the listeners on the platform, it's about the artists on the platform, it's about the podcasters on the platform. And what we do is we take all the data, all the listening data that's throughout the year, and we package that in like really interesting, creative, fun ways, and we kind of give it back to you, right? So you can just experience what your listening behaviors and patterns were throughout the year. So in a nutshell, that's what Wrapped's about. Then we try to bring it to life in interesting ways, like tonight.
What's on your Wrapped list?
Well, my number one, a Wrapped artist, it's every year. Like, I'm the guy that doesn't really change. Chris Brown. Chris Brown's my guy, yeah. And then Central C, I listen to a lot of UK rap, a lot of Brazilian funk, and a lot of CC.
My top artist for 2024, it was Beyonce. And my top song is 16 Carriages by Beyonce too.
Wow.
Yeah. Woo. I'm a serious beehive.
You're highly in the beehive.
Yes. Yes.
My top artist is Drake. My top song for the year was Kelani. Yes.
What are your thoughts on South African music and its global domination?
I think like South African music is really like making a statement for us South Africans. It's showing our creativity, it's our passion, and because one of my favorite things is that a lot of our music like just goes with dances on TikTok, and I feel like we are putting South Africa on the map, like in a good way and not in such a good way, because now everybody wants to be here, and then like it's a lot of people, but we welcome everybody, but like music is really putting us on the map, and I love that for us.
I feel like more especially for TikTok, it has really put Amapiano on the map, and also Tyler, our girl, she's also like doing amazing things there. So it's really nice that us as South Africans, we have that type of music and people can enjoy and, you know, just love.
What are those top 3 artists that are African that have really made a mark in terms of streams?
So across the continent, the top 3 artists, Ashake, Drake, and Burna Boy actually.
Wow.
So seeing a little bit of international artists coming through, but the local artists are really starting to shine through.
We know that you always listening to or dancing to a whole lot of South African tracks. Is that algorithm somehow spilling over into your rap?
Not at all. I choose what I want to listen to, but obviously I do listen to. It does have a little bit of an influence, like the songs that are trending. I end up maybe adding to my playlist because a lot of them are very vibey. Very maru, you know.
Are you part of the dance challenges? I know you and like doing your skits.
Sometimes when I feel like I love a certain challenge or a certain trend, I do sometimes, but I mostly gravitate more on skits.
So which one moved you so much?
I get to but something like you know, I don't know what they call it, but that's my favorite.
When it comes to the dance floor and pumping and putting up the gees and the energy of South African music, what would you say are your top 3 dance tracks that we should add to our playlist?
I would just say a whole lot of Gom. I like Bacardi as well, so Vocalistic and Pabi Cooper. So yeah, I think those are the, and obviously the Amapiano, any Amapiano song will get one like vibing. I mean, it's very versatile. You can be chill to it, you can bust down to it. But I think yeah, those 3 genres for South Africa, if it's playing, I'm on the dance floor.
Oh, how long have you got been effing?
This is gonna be a tough one because 2024 has been amazing. I'ma say wishy wishy. I'm gonna say wishy wishy.
Wishy wishy giving.
I sugo yang coba, din I sugo yang don't you know? And also no, okay. I feel like also Biri Marung, you know it. Yeah, I love that song. I love it so much.
Hey, yeah. Okay, that sounds like Biri Marung is getting 2 votes already. I feel like it's getting there. Yeah.
You know what's my problem? But I don't know their names. I know like it's a lot of Amapiano songs. I know when the beat drops, I know it's that song, but to tell you the song,
I know. I also suffer from that. You're not the only one, girl.
Yes. It just never comes to mind.
What's up, guys? It's Chad Jones here.
Hi, I'm Tandi Gama.
I go by the name of Nathan Molefe,
and you're watching
Trendz Live.
Oh, love me some Amapiano. Now, picture rolling green vineyards, charming countryside architecture, majestic mountains, and the irresistible vibe of Cape Town. You don't have to imagine it for long because for the next 5 minutes, we are bringing it all to life. Get ready for an unforgettable journey through this postcard perfect experience curated by our very own Puleng Mulibatse just for you.
Moments that really take your breath away and teleports you to a perfect world that resembles romantic novels. It's the scenery that keeps us coming back to Stellenbosch in the Western Cape. This time, we cozied up at In the Vine Country Manor that truly felt like a home away from home.
I was brought up in Zimbabwe, and my mother was Norwegian. Half Norwegian, half English. And so I was brought up with English furniture. And when we got married 25 years ago, I said to Teresa, my preference, you know, men mustn't express it because they don't know anything about interiors and the finer bits of art. But Teresa is very artistic and all her children are artistic. Unfortunately, I don't have much art in me, but I do enjoy English furniture. We chose this home because we were living in Hermanus and the schools are very good here. So we thought, well, a little boy who's only 4 years old and all his brothers and sisters were 16, 17 years old. So we were worried about that he would be a only child in Hermanus. So by coming over here, he would be brought up and he would be in contact with. So when he's older, which is worked out that way, now that he's 21, he has a very good, close relationship with his brothers and sisters. And that's the reason we decided to come across the mountain. Everybody looks at the sea, but to me the mountains are beautiful because being granite mountains and the formation, they're absolutely stunning. And it gives a nice backdrop for all the vineyards. So as you go along the road to Stellenbosch and you look to your right, you've got the backdrop of the mountains and then you've got all these vineyards that go up. And Shiraz is a big variety that they grow here, which is well known for the Western Cape.
Of providing their guests with a feeling of being at home, Teresa and Kuti curates meals that really speaks to the heart of what life in the vineyards is all about. Wholesome with wine selections produced in their backyards.
Teresa wanted to create a situation in once the kids then left home and were sort of set up their own homes. She wanted to create a guest house that people felt comfortable in, and not feeling that it was a stiff sort of atmosphere, and it was like, as you say, home from home. And so we planted lots and lots of trees. We planted over 100 trees all in all on the farm, and then we capitalized on this dam. We built this dam so that, because water, just I've got a love for water.
This area isn't only about views, so for our stay, we opted for a moment of zen that comes with a good hot stone massage.
Most people combine in our Winelands area their wine tours with our spa treatments. So our spa treatments is very holistic approach where we teach people to breathe, how to really calm the mind, and how to balance their energies by the massages and then also the various therapies that we offer. So it's not a standard approach, but it has a profound physical and mental relaxation experience that we offer different to any other spa. Every treatment that we offer, we focus in to calm the central nervous system, quieten a very busy mind. You know, today we're on fight flight mode, go mode, the next thing. So if you're not cautious, it all builds in your central nervous system, and people start developing PTSD type of symptoms, such as feeling maybe a little bit depressed, even though life seems rosy and beautiful, or feeling a bit anxious, or just feeling not your joy spot, or getting to a point where you ask questions: who am I, what am I, what are my purpose? So our main part of our spa programs is our wellness retreats, where we teach people to find their balance physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically and spiritually.
Cheers! Here's to moments that make up a perfect postcard.
All right, let's talk fashion for 2024. People have been dressed to the nines this year with all the amazing events we experienced. Now, you know, Trendz Live was there for all the action. So, you know, we invited two people who are going to come and unpack it all for us. It's celebrity stylist Pupo Gumede and award-winning beauty culture icon Dumi Powerhouse. They're both here to unpack the scene for us. Welcome to Trendz Live.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, it's so very demure, and I just like, we gotta pick.
Is it demure with me next to Pupo? I'm not sure. I'm always demure, so I don't know. I hasn't put my guys.
Same. Let's get straight into it. Favorite event this year where you feel like everybody looked amazing? What was it?
That is so interesting.
And you can't say the cruise fashion week party because you...
Yeah, only I looked amazing there.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Timmy was there as well.
Well, yeah, I was, but I can speak about the events that I think were amazing. I think Netflix Bridgerton, I mean, I hosted the red carpet, official red carpet host working with Netflix, was absolutely incredible. I think people looked great, and obviously because we've got people like the F word, like Pupo Gumede, speaking about fashion, it's important to get feedback, and I think he gave quite a few notes. He didn't like my outfit, but I think everybody looked amazing.
I mean, my event of the year where I feel like everyone showed up was the Hollywood Bets Durban July.
Oh yeah.
I think the girls are starting to take everything seriously. Now it's not just the dress, it's the entire production, the hair, the makeup, the location, the pre-photo shoots.
Yeah.
So I absolutely loved the length everyone went to give us a fashion moment.
But what do we say about the social media chatter that always says the dresses look great on camera and in photos, but never really hit the mark in person?
Are they there?
Well, I was about to say, most of the time, like, people that tweet about those things and talk about those things are people that are never really there.
Fair.
So I'm like, you don't know, you are not in the room, so it's great, fabulous, your opinion matters to you. Thank you.
Keep it moving.
How are you talking about how a dress looks in real life when you're not seeing it in real life? I don't know, that's crazy business.
That's true. That's true. Let's move over to the world of influence. If I had to say influential, who's the most influential person in your books this year? SA.
In my field, I would say I am.
How Pupo? You know, yes.
And I'll tell you why. I wore flowers I came to an event as an actual bouquet, and that landed on the cover of S Mag. And the outfits I wore at the Durban July this year, Miss Nigeria did an entire collection inspired by that outfit for their finale for all the contestants. So I don't see any other girlies having that much real life impact when it comes to fashion locally. So as much as I would like to say someone else, but like, I mean,
yeah, wow.
I think as a lifestyle content creator, I look at things overall, and I think fashion is one of the things that I'm currently interested in. And I think gradual progress is something that we don't speak about. And I want to speak about this particular girl, Lisa Madibe. I think she is really, really building a fashion catalog of her own, where she's like one of the best dressed girls, one of the most fashionable girls. And maybe in there I'll also add like a Vongai Mapo, who, you know, doesn't really go to events, doesn't really do much, but like when she dresses up, you want to get what she's wearing. So Lisa Madibe, Vongai Mapo, my absolute faves. And yeah, those are my absolute faves.
Also, I feel like it makes sense that you be obsessed with Lisa because the hair, hair and makeup.
Lisa with the good hair.
Never a miss. So
yeah, Lisa, absolutely. I think she's incredible. I think you need to get to a point where it propels other things forward. Like what people are speaking about, that an entire collection for Miss Universe Nigeria was based on the inspiration made with what he did. I'm not buying face, he knows. I'll say it like it is. I think he's also like doing incredibly well in terms of just as a face of fashion.
And that's on impact.
That's on impact.
If the year had an aesthetic, what do you think the vibe was in the globe? If we had to say 2024's aesthetic was this, what was the vibe this year?
I think the vibe was really effortlessness. When it comes to fashion outside of the red carpet, the biggest fashion moments outside of the red carpet happened where people dress effortlessly or do their makeup effortlessly. Like it was such a huge transition from the campness that we've actually experienced from previous years, where now quietness it was celebrated enough. Kitten Hills made a huge comeback. Brands that has very little designs like Loewe and Prada made very huge waves across the fashion scene. So yeah, the subtleness of it really made a comeback.
Something like back to basics.
Yeah, back to basics. But I also think like localization, like it's so wonderful to see people creating looks with like local people and also creating collaborative ideas that are creative in fashion and beauty. So I think collaborations this year were like one of the big things, you know, that I think the word for the year was collaboration. It happens every year, but I mean, this year it looked a kind of different from what it usually is. Like even for Hollywood Best Step in July, even for other events that took place, you saw how people's collaboration and just getting together really worked.
Also collaborating outside the borders of South Africa.
Absolutely.
I want to chat about the designers now. You spoke about Miss Nigeria. A lot of South Africans are collaborating with Nigeria. But before we get to that chat to me about your favorite designer and why. 2024.
Oh, South African favorite designers. I absolutely love Imprint because I'm always wearing Imprint. I love Imprint. I love Ezoketo, Bumi. I absolutely adore Masango. And I mean, I've been friends with Masango for years, but like I adore, you know, his craftsmanship. I love the way he makes clothes and the way he makes women look. I love him.
I know you truly love him. Pubo as a stylist, favorite designer?
In South Africa or in Africa?
Give me both. Give me both.
Okay. So in Africa, I really love Madeline Boss. I love the way she has range. So she is initially a tailor. So her tailoring, her suiting has the same amount of with a fully pleated gown or a wedding dress, and I appreciate a designer who is an all-rounder. And then when it comes to South Africa, I think Masango basically is the designer of the year according to experts.
Absolutely.
By experts, I mean me.
Absolutely.
I think he really put out a consistent quality of work where each and every time someone was in Masango, it was a hit, it was a hit, it was a hit. He had so many hits, he had so many good fashion moments, he had very little misses, if there are any, but I just love the consistency of him delivering fashion moment after fashion moment after fashion moment.
I guess and they all look different as well.
Right,
like,
the range, exactly.
Like all his creations are so different. It could be a moment this week, 3 days later you have something. And you know, a lot of people in South Africa don't really design for men.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
Give it to Masango.
Oh, I wore a couple of custom Masango by Specialties this year.
Of course you did.
Of course you did. So,
of course you had to.
I mean, just putting it out there, and I mean, all the moments were just like so different, so fashion, so spoken about, and yeah. So that is for me what like the range you're speaking about. The fact that they can do menswear and do women's wear, do wedding gown, do a short dress, do a
metric dance,
a suits, a fully period. Like and also he keeps to his aesthetic all the damn time. So the fact that you can see it's a Masango dress, but it's totally different, is what makes him designer of the year for me.
Ah, I absolutely love it. Look, 2025 is coming. I think we're still going to see a bit more fashion in the festive season. I don't know. Maybe they're going to be misses. Maybe they're going to be hits. But I'll definitely have you guys back here next year again so that I can hold you accountable for all the statements, the bold statements that you put out today.
We definitely made,
That's how we wrap up our fashion wrap for 2024. We're going to go to a quick ad break. When we come back, it's more of Trendz Live. Stick around. You're still watching Trendz Live. Now, Hitmaker Kelvin Momo, award-winning fashion designer Lukhanyo Mdingi, milliner Crystal Birch, and visual artist Imraan Christian form part of an artist residency that had an experiential showcase that highlighted a fusion of art from a trip they took to Mexico in light of celebrating the origins of the partnership's history. Selepe Maifadi was out there having the time of her life. Have a look.
The inspiration to follow your heart. That's the ethos that unearthed this new wave of artistry, which unfolded in an artist residency that celebrates the synergy of Mexico and Mzansis.
What we wanted to do was we wanted to build a platform, a creative in-culture platform that allows us to give artists the platform to express what they do. And so in terms of the selection of who we went with, we wanted people who accentuate what it means to follow your heart.
This artist residency highlights the works of 4 impeccable artists in visual arts, fashion and music, spotlighting the artistic dominance and creativity after going on a trip to Mexico to soak up the traditions of the country and create a fusion of culture on their latest projects.
How could I resist? What an opportunity, and what an incredible team. My amigos are really, really so incredible at what they do, and to be in such company and such a level of what everybody does, I'm really honored.
I love these creatives. It was a really easy thing to say yes to. I think also the idea of working together, traveling, being inspired, and sort of putting forward a body of work based on the experience, it just resonated really deeply with me. And I mean, for me, I love Mexico, I love the culture. So it felt like a homecoming, to be honest with you.
That's a country that I've always had such a strong curiosity to explore. And during the research respite, there's so much culture that is so nuanced to South Africa. And really being immersed within that space really aided into the point of view of the body of work that I had the opportunity to create. But also it was enriching. And that's something that, as an artist, is something that I always really appreciate.
What we wanted to do in Mexico was just make sure that we have an itinerary that's very rich in terms of Mexican culture, in terms of getting them to learn not just about the history of Mexico, but like the food in Mexico, the fashion in Mexico, how are the people making traditional Mexican clothing, threading the fabrics and that sort of stuff, which is really interesting. And you saw what Lukhanyo did, which is inspiration directly from Mexico in terms of how some of that stuff is threaded and how he puts that together. So we just wanted to immerse them fully, to allow them to have that experience in the background, to bring the brand to life in a way that's very authentic.
For this showcase, fashion designer Lukhanyo Mdingi took a different approach by stepping into another form of art that the designer doesn't usually dabble in.
I've always believed there's a certain kind of impermanence to everything. So when we had the opportunity to go to Mexico, we also explored different excursions. And one of them was actually exploring a beautiful floral field and looking at all the indigenous flowers that were contained within the context of Mexico. And I really wanted to grab onto that sensibility and see how I can bring that within the context of this body of work that we have presented behind us today. And so by recreating the Mexican geography map, we wanted to see how we can bring in that heritage of the national flower, and also collaborating with an extraordinary floral designer to see how we can bring this body of work to life. So you're able to see that sensibility of craft and that artisanal sensibility and nature of it. And yeah, I think the whole experience within itself is something that's really quite sensory and also really visually striking. So it's something that I'm really proud of.
You had an exciting trip in Mexico, and right now you're showing off the best of that experience through your own interpretation. Tell us a bit about that and what we're looking at right now that you're exhibiting.
It was definitely an incredible experience, and Don Julio is known for being the man in the hat. And being a milliner making hats, I could take that and then flesh it out and make a whole collection of what I felt in Mexico, that everything happens in threes. And I moved with a light from the morning, buenos dias, to the afternoon, buenas tardes, to the evening, buenas noches, teaming it up with a blanco for the morning, cristalino for the afternoon. It's vibrant and colorful, and the evening is like a mystery, magical, when everything comes to life, like the Reposado in the 1942.
How did you get to the works that we're seeing here today?
The body of work is called Espiritu, and essentially it's a homage to the connection in spirit between Mexican soil and South African soil, and an exploration of this idea of finding home in somewhere else. You know, so often you travel so far and you find a space that resonates and feels like home. So this work was really just allowing myself to be free and enjoy and explore that feeling.
What do you think of the culmination of all the art pieces together here?
It's crazy how different each of the artists are, but how cohesive everything in here looks. Like everything just has the same vibe, the same energy, and I think it's because all of the amigos are close friends now, and I don't know, I'm obsessed.
I think the one thing that I love about artists and artistry is how everyone is so different, so talented, and each and everyone will take a breath away for many different reasons. You know, I loved Omar's interpretation of art and the reason behind it. I absolutely love his different paintings and drawings. And then we have Lukhanyo, who did something very different. I loved his interpretation of it because that's actually the map of Mexico. And I love that he used fresh flowers for it, which I think is very different, especially coming from an artist who I know primarily for making clothing. For him to do something of artwork at display like this is really, really beautiful. And I'm a huge fan of Crystal Birch, so I'm already wearing a Crystal Birch hat. And I think the one thing I love about clothing is that clothing is also part of art, and hats are literally artist signature. As a person who loves hats and accessories, every time I wear hats, I wear for different reasons and different occasions. So being able to express yourself in those manners, I think, is really a beautiful way. It's a beautiful synergy of different artists who work on different arts.
I'm curious, how is Kelvin Momo going to bring Mexico out of expensive piano?
So when we were in Mexico, the one thing that inspired him was how a lot of the Mexican, so like when you go to a restaurant, an event or whatever, a lot of the music is live. Like you hardly see a DJ. Yes, there are DJs, I'm not saying they're not there, there are DJs when you go to Mexico City or whatever, but when we were in Guadalajara, in a lot of places where we went, it was like live music. Like even in the nighttime, like you have these mariachi bands and different sorts of bands, like everything is really live. It's made in real time. So he's bringing a little bit of that into his performance today and just pulling his music apart.
With me working with them is more of like I got like a lot of inspiration because I got to do Chess Cruise, and I got to, the reason I did Chess Cruise, I went to Mexico, and the reason why I did this project now that I dropped, which is called Ntsako, which means joy, it's because of the amount of happiness I saw the time I went to Mexico of people jamming to music. So when I got back from Mexico, it really took me out of my comfort zone, and I got to challenge myself from one session to another in studio.
And your audience, who is usually somewhat like in this trance-like state when they see you performing, would you say they connect to it as much as they do to your other sound?
Well, people that know the real Kelvin Momo, all the time, no one really knew about me. They will tell you that this guy used to listen or maybe produce like jazz gakulu, because I used to listen to all those songs. I used to play them when I was still young. So every time when I play, I try to make sure that everyone connects with each and every song that I play, because it's really not easy to connect with someone's energy. So I try by my best level so I can try and make people happy.
Well, you certainly did in 2024. Plans for 2025?
More projects. More projects. More projects. Yo, what's up? This is your boy Kelvin Momo. Shout out to Trendz Live. Thank all.
Having the time of her life. Now, every town has a story to tell, and Tembisa is no different. This vibrant township holds key moments that shaped South Africa's history. What stood out for us this time around was the inspirational story of guest house owner Sheila Sekitla, the woman behind the establishment of Tembisa's very first guest house back in 1992, when townships weren't known for having such. This is a true testament to resilience and hope. Here's a journey through history and celebration of dreams fulfilled.
The View Guest House proudly stands as Tembisa's first ever guest house with over 20 years of history. Upon arrival, guests are greeted by a captivating wall of memories, a tribute to the milestone and legacy of this beloved institution.
This is the first guest house in township in South Africa, in Tembisa. It was in 1993 to 1993 by Mrs. Sheila Sekitla. She has got a passion for what she does. I think those are the two things that help her. She's passionate about tourism. She's passionate about the business. We've got all 12 bedrooms. All rooms are different from each other. We've got rooms that have got outside view. I've got 2 upstairs rooms that are executive upstairs rooms. One we call it Amapiano room because he slept here in 2018. And I've got a conference facility that can take about 100 people for conference and birthday parties. Yes, I've got a bar. I've got a bar, as you can see, but it's only used when people have booked it. We're no longer using it for public. We accommodate family, public, and international guests. We hosted international guests in the past.
Even after 2 decades, local residents continue to cherish this historic venue as it symbolizes the pride and heritage of their township.
Tembisa people support us by coming, and when they have got funerals, they book their family members here. And even when they've got closing parties for society, they have got their they do have got their meetings at the conference center, because we also provide catering.
Although safety concerns can influence guest decision, the establishment has implemented measures to ensure a secure and welcoming environment for all.
It's a normal phobia. People are afraid to come to Tembisa because of crime, but this area is safe. In our celebration, we've got CCTV cameras, so our security system is tight. So when people are here, they are safe. Even when they park their cars are safe.
Strategically located near the hospital, the View Guest House draws its name from the view of this facility.
Sometimes people who must sleep over for their family, they do come and book here. I remember, I think last year, I had a lady whose husband was hospitalized. She stayed here almost for a month. So it does help us to be next to the hospital, Tembisa Hospital and Zamakutle.
The guest house remains a landmark of heritage, comfort, and progress.
2024 has been nothing short of iconic. A year bursting with style, entertainment, and those jaw-dropping moments that kept us buzzing. From the glitz of the red carpet to the bold moves that shook up the industry, Trendz Live has been your ultimate Friday night vibe. Tonight, we're turning up the fun as we revisit the OMG moments that made this year pure magic. Think fashion, travel, and everything lifestyle. Let's take you down memory lane. Have a look.
Oh, how time flies when you're having fun. 2024, the year of Trendz Life. Listen, we ate and left no crumbs. Let's take a trip down memory lane and begin right here. Oh yes, the new faces of Trendz Life.
What's good, Trendz Life family? Kalina ke Kansani Koza, but because we're family now, please call me Candy.
How's it, everybody? My name is Mzansis, but you can call me Mne.
Since then, Friday nights were never the same again. They kept us entertained and we could not get enough. So much so that we took the entire team on a road trip so that we can turn up some more. Along the way, there were some members of the team who ventured out and left the show. But we kept our files just so we can remind them of their Trendz Life roots. For the diehards who are still remaining and are never afraid to take the plunge when it comes to delivering on that mandate of entertainment, we say Womandla for always pushing the envelope.
I'm alive. Name's Lukhanyo Mdingi. Catch you next time.
Fashion, oh honey, say less. Music, we got you covered. Just turn on the mic and we'll give you a show.